mentioned over here. By the end of this class, the students should be able to understand, to have concept, to discuss the general mechanisms of drug action and different terms related to the actions of the drugs in the body and the study of the drug actions at the molecular level. Let's start with the general outline. The drug, when reaches in the systemic circulation by the absorption, it circulates with the blood. It reaches at the site of action, and in the blood or at the site of action, it causes the effects. The therapeutic effect which we desire, for which we administer the drugs, and we will study in general the mechanisms of different actions caused by the drugs. Actually, the drugs do not give any new function to any system of the body. They actually modify the already present function of a system of the body or of an organ of the body. They only modify, they may increase, they may decrease that activity, or they may initiate that activity or stop that activity. Drugs only produce quantitative changes, not the qualitative changes. Means drug do not change the function, do not give any new function to any organ of the body. Now these are different methods. There may be many more, but only 6 are named over here. These are the methods by which the drugs in general, they produce the therapeutic effects. Stimulation, depression, irritation, replacement, antimicrobial effect, or immunomodifying effect, or the other ways. Let's take one by one. Stimulation, by the definition, an increase in the activity of any specialized tissue is known as stimulation. For example, epinephrine, a drug, or it may be taken as the physiological ligand. It is a neurotransmitter, it stimulates the heart. Pilocarpine stimulates the ciliary muscle and result in its contraction, and morphine stimulates oculomotor contraction and vagal nerve nuclei. So these stimulatory effect can be exemplified for this section, this part of the drug action. Number 2, depression. Simply it is the opposite of stimulation and the selective reduction in the activity of any tissue of the body is known as depression. Example is quinidine depresses myocardium, barbiturates and benzodiazepines depress CNS, and such many actions of the drugs. Number 3, irritation. The drugs may produce effect on the morphology of the living system, which is not restricted to any specialized tissue, but can occur anywhere in the body. For example, precipitation of proteins, which is astringent effect. It can be produced by bismuth carbonate, or damage to the cellular compartments by the anti-cancer drugs, are such actions in which the morphology, the structure of the body tissue is damaged, is altered. It is known as irritation. Number 4, replacement. In case of deficiency of any vitamin, any minerals, the hormones, the neurotransmitters, the particular thing, vitamin or hormone or mineral, is administered in the body as the replacement. It means food supplementation, the multivitamin tablet or blood or plasma or any deficient part can be administered in the body by this method. Antimicrobial effect is another way of the action of the drugs. We use the drugs to kill or halt the growth of the microbia, which are pathological, which are harmful for our body tissues. In this treatment, the antimicrobials may be antibiotics, may be antiviral, antifungal, antihelminthic agents. For example, penicillin, cephalosporin, sulfonamides, aminoglycosides, these are all examples of the antibiotics, antibacterial drugs. Then we cause the effects of some drugs by their administration for the modification of the immune function. For example, with the use of various vaccines and syrup, we improve, we boost the immunity, which is useful to fight against many dangerous pathogens. Maybe the virus, for example, hepatitis B and C, for example, influenza, for example, polio, tuberculosis, and many diseases are vaccinated to prevent from. Now, the students need understanding. Some drugs have simple mechanism of action. They act by physical or chemical properties, and some other drugs cause the therapeutic effect by binding to some particular receptors. This shows that the actions caused by the drugs may be receptor mediated and without the mediation of the receptors. We'll classify such actions of the drugs into physical action of the drug, chemical action of the drug, and receptor mediated action of the drug, which is known as pharmacological action. And these actions, let's see how are elicited. Physical action can be explained with the examples. Mass of the drug can cause. It is the physical characteristic of the drug, like Brown Spagol act as bulk laxatives. They are laxatives. They give the therapeutic effect of laxation with their physical property of increasing the mass inside the GIT. Then adsorption property of charcoal and kaolin. Adsorption means to attach and retain attached, mainly the toxins. Another property, physical property, is the radioactivity, and radioactive iodine and phosphorus are used for the therapeutic action for the treatment. Then radio opacity of the barium sulfate and other contrast media, these are used for the investigations, for the X-ray, for the CT scan, for the MRI, and so on. And the osmotic activity of the drugs like mannitol acts as osmotic diuretic. So any physical property of the drug can result in the therapeutic action. Number 2, chemical action of the drugs, the ability of the drug to interact chemically with the endogenous substance. By this mechanism, drugs react extracellularly by simple chemical reactions. The examples are already known to you. The antacids neutralize the gastric acid. Protamine sulfate reduces the toxicity of the heparin by reacting chemically with heparin, and sodium citrate increases the alkaline nature of the urine. Number 3 is through the action of the drugs caused by the mediation of the receptors. The drug molecules bind to the particular receptors, and there are many drugs which act through the receptors. Examples are given over here of the epinephrine acting on alpha and beta adrenergic receptors, and acetylcholine acting on the muscarinic and nicotinic receptors. Now let's see the actions of the drugs at the molecular level. The mechanism of translation of the receptor activation into functional response is not simple. It may have the sequence of the events. Let's see with these groups of the receptors. Now receptors are functionally divided into four categories. Receptors which regulate the gene expression, their action is to initiate the protein synthesis. Number 2, receptors having intrinsic ion channels. Number 3, catalytic receptors or enzymatic receptors. And number 4, G protein coupled receptors. Let's see one by one. Number 1 is receptor regulating gene expression. Let's take it as lipid soluble drugs pass through the cell membranes and bind to the intracellular receptors. These type of the receptors lie inside the cytoplasm or inside the nucleus of the cell. They are intracellular receptors. When the drug molecules cross the cell membrane, they go and attach to the receptors. The hormone receptor complex is formed. The hormone receptor complex then further result to a series of reactions in which the new gene transcript is formed and new protein molecules are synthesized. Examples are all the steroid hormones, thyroid hormone, vitamin A, vitamin D. They all give their therapeutic action by binding to this type of the receptors, intracellular receptors. These drugs, they bind to the specific sequence of the DNA and facilitate their expression. A specific messenger RNA is formed. This messenger RNA is moved to the ribosomes and directs the synthesis of specific proteins which regulate the activity of the target cells. Such proteins which are newly synthesized can result in the contractile activity or secretory activity. This translation mechanism, this slowest in its time course of action, it means that the therapeutic action is slowest by this type of the receptors among all the types. Number 2, receptor with intrinsic ion channels. These are cell surface receptors, means these receptors lie on the cell membranes. They may enclose ion channels within their molecule or coupled with their molecules. Agonist binding. Agonist may be a drug or may be an endogenous substance. When it binds to this type of the receptor, it opens the channels for the particular ions, and the influx or efflux of the ions changes ionic composition of the cytoplasm, and they cause the depolarization or hyperpolarization. The depolarization result in the activity of that cell, the nerve cell or muscle cell, or hyperpolarization takes it away from the depolarization and inactivates it. Examples are acetylcholine on the nicotinic receptors, glycine, GABA and aspartate. These neurotransmitters act by binding to this type of the receptors. They operate the ion channels and change the ionic concentration inside. In these receptors, ligand directly operates ion channels without intervention of any coupling protein or second messenger. The onset and offset of responses through this class of the receptor is fastest. because receptor is bound by the ligand, by the drug molecule, and the ion channel opens or closes, and the ionic concentration inside the cell changes and the effect is caused. Number 3, catalytic receptors, enzyme receptors. These are located through and through the cell membrane, so these are also known as transmembrane receptors. They have the outer receiving domain and inner working domain. This class of the receptors are enzymes. Enzymes means they are proteins. They pass through the cell membrane and have extracellular and intracellular portions which are connected by the peptide chain. The intracellular part of the receptor possesses tyrosine kinase activity. When ligand binds to the extracellular domain, it will activate the inner one, the tyrosine kinase activity in the cytoplasm, which then phosphorylates or dephosphorylates the specific proteins, and that phosphorylation causes a series of action or one action which gives the therapeutic effect. The examples of this type of the receptors bound by the insulin are IGF-1, are epidermal growth factor, and interleukin. These substances act through this type of the receptors by binding to the transmembrane or catalytic receptors. Number 4 and most important is the G protein coupled receptors. This is a large family of the receptors which are coupled with the GTP activated G proteins. These proteins are called G proteins because they are GTP activated. They need guanosine triphosphate for their operation. These are located on cytoplasmic phase of the cell membrane, means inner side of the cell membrane. The receptors in this case are linked to the effector element, which may be an enzyme, may be an ion channel, or any protein. This connection is through the G protein. It means that these are linked with the effector element by the G protein. Let's see. When ligand binds to the receptor proteins, they are activated. In turn, they activate the effector element that generate the second messengers or operate the ion channels by the mediation of activated G protein. There are 3 major effector pathways we know which are operating with the mediation of the G protein coupled receptors. Number 1, adenylyl cyclase enzyme, which causes cyclic AMP synthesis. This pathway. Number 2 is phospholipase C enzyme, which causes the synthesis of IP3 inosine triphosphate and diacylglycerol IP3 DAG pathway. And number 3 is the channel regulation. Ionic channels operated by these. So these 3 major pathways are the examples of the G protein coupled receptors. Number 1, adenylyl cyclase enzyme, which causes the synthesis of cyclic AMP. The activation of this enzyme results in the intracellular accumulation of cyclic AMP that in turn activates protein kinase enzyme, and protein kinase enzyme does the work, the catalytic work. Cyclic AMP mediates such hormonal responses as mobilization of energy by the breakdown of the carbohydrates and fats by the enzymes. Number 2, conversion of the water by the kidneys, which can be exemplified with the ADH, antidiuretic hormone action. Then increased heart rate and force of contraction, the beta 1 adrenergic effect, and the relaxation of bronchial and uterine smooth muscles, the beta 2 adrenergic effect. These are the examples of the G protein coupled receptors activated by the increase in the concentration of the cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP eventually is degraded in the cells by the enzyme phosphodiesterase. Number 2 example of the G protein coupled receptor pathways, phospholipase C producing IP3 and DAG. The activation of phospholipase C enzyme hydrolyzes the membrane phospholipid phosphatidyl inositol biphosphate. It further forms the second messengers IP3 inositol triphosphate and DAG diacyl glycerol. DAG remains confined to the cell membrane, remains over there and activates protein kinase C enzyme. And IP3 diffuses inside the cytoplasm. It triggers, it activates the release of the calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. In this way, the calcium concentration inside the cell is increased. Increased intracellular calcium stimulates the contractility inside the cell. Acetylcholine muscarinic effects, histamine and serotonin produce their effects by this pathway. It means IP3 and DNG synthesis which are coupled with the G protein receptors. Calcium is actively removed after that from cytoplasm by calcium pump. DAG may be converted back to phospholipid or may be dephosphorylated to form the arachidonic acid. Number 3 type is the channel regulation, which is G protein coupled with the receptor mediated. When activated G protein, which lies connected with the ion channels, when it is activated, it can also open or close the ionic channels which are specific for sodium or potassium or calcium, and the depolarization or hyperpolarization of the cell can be caused by the activity, either increase or decrease of these particular ions. Physiological receptors are the examples like neurotransmitters or hormone secretions occurs through ion regulation operated by the G proteins. And that's all.